I'm thinking we just probably set up right here on this edge of southeast wind, so these coyotes are going to want to circle downwind. I'm expecting them to come from the northeast, so hopefully they'll circle out in front of us with our wind blowing southeast. We'll get a shot at them. Great, you tell me when you're good. On the left. Are you on him? Tell me when. Heck yeah, man, that's how it's supposed to work. Hell yeah, dude. Give me some, man. That was sweet. Anyone can do that. Any joker can go out and do that, man. Dude, isn't that fun? Little male. Smoked. That is what we're taking care of right there. It was about 10-minute sit this morning. Just ran fawn distress for about 8 minutes, and Collins over my left shoulder said, "Hell, coyote came into the field," and didn't take us long before we weren't letting him get away. So I think we're gonna try another couple spots. I only like hunting about the first couple hours in the mornings this time of year, just because it gets so hot. But it's about 60 degrees, barely any wind this morning, perfect conditions. So gonna load this thing up and try a couple different spots. I'm gonna put that call out a little bit, so I'm hoping they'll like cut into the field before they get in this grass. They'll stay out in the open. Sounds good. Well, good morning, guys. It's June 16th, and Collins, Grant, and myself are at one of my permission farms from a good family friend, and just doing a little coyote hunting this morning. And the reason we are here is because the last 2 weeks, Collins and I have gotten an abundance of pictures of coyotes, but not just pictures of coyotes. We've actually had pictures of coyotes with fawns in their mouths. So this time of year, as you guys know, here in Iowa, the past 3 weeks, fawns have been dropping. And I just want to talk about our setup and talk about the style of calling that we're doing this time of year, because Collins and I, we've actually never coyote hunted this time of year ever, in the summer and the spring months. For this time of year, you want to pick out a field around some type of timber that's got some short vegetation. Normally that's just your beans and some cut alfalfa or some clover fields. And that's exactly what this bottom here is. This morning we had a southeast wind, and with that southeast wind position, those coyotes are always going to try circling downwind just so they can smell that prey or whatever you're running on that collar, just so they know what's there before they commit to it. When that coyote came out this morning, you'll notice he came from our right, but he was still circling straight out, trying to come downwind instead of coming straight to the call. As for a calling sequence, you know, we actually just started calling, like I said, here a couple weeks ago, and all we've been doing is running a fawn distress for about 10 to 15 minutes. And during those 10 to 15 minutes, about every 2 minutes, I'll take about a 30-second break just to make it more realistic. And if I don't have a coyote commit, or if I don't see a coyote within that 10 to 15 minutes, I'll turn a pup distress on. We actually had a huge learning mistake from this morning, and we only waited about 2 minutes. We got really excited, we got a coyote down, and we made the mistake of going out to the coyote really early. And as soon as we got to that coyote, I looked up, scanned the field, and what do you know, there's a coyote 400 yards away on that edge. So after you shoot a coyote, always try and make a habit of turning the pup distress on as soon as you shoot that coyote, because you never know what's close by, what else could come in.
So yeah, like Kaleb mentioned earlier, he's actually already been out a couple times this year, and he's noticed as soon as he turns on that fawn distress, some does have been running in. So he kind of mentioned that this morning, that we might see that, and with that first setup, as you guys saw, that's exactly what happened. It was probably less than a minute into that first sequence, and I heard something coming out behind me, and all of a sudden this doe comes barreling out, and she comes right up to the call, and she didn't have a fawn or anything with her. The fawn could have been in the weeds, but what we're noticing is even on our second setup today, we actually had 4 fawns come in, or 4 does, younger does, come right in to the fawn distress. And I think it's just this herd mentality of, you know, protecting the young. These does, they seem to, as soon as they hear fawn distress, you know, their nature is to save and like fend off whatever's attacking the fawn. And this time of year, it's usually coyotes. So that's kind of also played to our benefit. It's that acts as a kind of confidence decoy. You got this fawn distress going on, and then there's does all over the field acting weird. And that might have actually helped this dog come in today. He could have been sitting back here in the weeds, and then as soon as that doe kind of got out of the field, he might have ended up coming out, but just gave him the confidence to come in. So, I mean, that's something pretty cool that we've never seen. Like you said, this is our first time doing it in the late spring, early summer like this, and with fawns dropping, we're kind of going to try and experiment. We're thinking about bringing out a coyote decoy for this next time, and seeing if a doe will come up and try and attack that coyote decoy. We got a full mount and also some silhouettes, so it's going to be fun here. Something to do on the off season, and anything to help protect the deer herd and stop these coyotes from killing these fawns. But now that we know this time of year is a very successful and opportune time to get out and continue coyote hunting, we're probably going to continue doing this for the years to come, and especially the rest of this summer. So we look forward to catching back up with you guys here in the future, and hopefully we can get a few more dogs on the ground.
I'm out here on the home farm today. It is Saturday, June 19th, and we've been really dry here in Iowa and all throughout the Midwest over the last 2 weeks. Haven't gotten probably a 1/10 of an inch of rain, but we have rain in the forecast tomorrow, 70% chance. And I am here to try to get my plot screen in. So I've been drawing on the map and penciling in and trying to figure out where the best place will be to put it. All of my ag fields this year are in beans, and you know, that's a really handy time to utilize plot screen. Last year I had corn, so I could leave strips of standing corn to kind of function as a plot screen. And this year, obviously, the beans don't provide that same advantage. So right now we're standing in the first area I want to work on today. This is where my family had so much success at Christmas time last year, this little cove. It's 2.5 acres, 3 acres or so on the back side of this 15-acre field. And my plan is to put a strip. It's about 1/10 of an acre or so. I'm gonna make it 15 feet wide right across the neck. We're just gonna till in the beans right here about 15 feet wide and get that plot screen in. That's gonna do a few things for me, but primarily for late season, that's gonna help us get in and get out and leave the deer feeding back here, and hopefully leave them undisturbed and allow us to hunt it more consistently. Also, if I get an opportunity to hunt here in the fall, you know, during the rut, just having an area where the deer can't see into it, they got to come walk in there to check it. You can do better getting them closer in the range. We're gonna get to work. I'm gonna get fertilizer down first and get it tilled in, and then we'll seed it and pack it. We're all done with the first spot here. Really excited with how it turned out. I think it's gonna work really well for the family and I this late season. I've got a few more spots to do on this farm. We're gonna get moving to those. And then the next spot I'll stop and talk a little bit about the strategy behind the plot screen is at the cherry tree setup where I shot turkey foot last year. We're just wrapping up our last section of plot screen on the home farm today. We're back at the cherry tree plot. You guys remember this spot where I shot turkey foot last year on October 16th. One of my favorite spots on the farm. It is in the fence line of the property I originally bought 3 years ago, and then the new property I bought last year. And that fence line works as a great barrier between the two sides of food. This year I've got beans on the other side of the fence, and we're gonna have a turnip clover plot right here. This area was just haying. And last year what I found when I was hunting is that deer would be cruising the edges of the field out here, and if I'd call to them, they can look this direction and just see the open food plot. So I'm gonna have a 15-foot wide strip of plot screen here, and that'll help me get those deer to, those bucks to have to come and check the plot if I do call to them. Plus it will help my access. You know, sometimes I slip in through the hayfield here, and it'll give me a chance hopefully to kind of scope out the plot and not spook anything out of it if there are deer sitting in it when I'm walking up. All in all, productive day. The other two spots we got done, I've got a little bottom turnip plot down the hill here. It was a spot that it was frequented by turkey foot last year. A lot of times the bucks that come up here are also down there. I put a little strip there. That spot's got great access from the trucks on a south wind, but the deer, if they're in the plot when you get here, they can see all the way out to where we park. So I just thought I'd put a little visual barrier there. And then the other bigger food plot, that's 2.5 acres in my CRP, I get 10% of food plot there. I've got that in beans. We hunted late season there a few times last year, and we'll hunt again late season there this year. Since it's beans, I'm just gonna wrap it in a 12-foot strip of plot screen. Got that done, and excited to see how that'll hold up this year for late season. My Cuddeback cameras have been getting some pictures of some nice bucks out on the farm this year, some mature ones. Big Mac, you guys remember, I picked up his match set of sheds with the guys during shed season last year. He was at least a 5-year-old last year, and I've got a couple photos of him so far. And then just the other day, I got a shot of another great looking deer. I think it's the 6x5. This buck, we have a couple years of history with him too. Ended up being a better deer than I thought he was last year. Really great mass, character points. Got a buck growing that's just got really big bases. He's got kickers. I think it's this deer. We'll see as the summer goes on, but it's exciting to see these deer hanging out here. I think we're gonna have a good velvet season here with all the beans. The beans are looking healthy despite the lack of rain. And the projects are just moving forward. The next thing I gotta get done on this farm will be just the fall food plots. So we'll be back here, you know, later in July, in a month or so, and we'll be getting those done, and then we'll just be ready for season. So hopefully we'll get a good shot of this rain tomorrow, and this plot screen will jump right out of the ground. As always, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll see you back next Monday.